I don't remember,
Okay.
honestly.
Because
But there was a cadet. I think he's a cadet. I'm not really sure. But he said he was handling everything. I said, okay, do you need anything from me? And he's like, no, we got this down, Dan. No worries. I said, okay, make sure you put a report in there so that's a good warrant, and let me know if you need anything. And they were like, okay, no problem. And I walked out.
okay. So this is the first I'm hearing of this cadet. If you can find out
I
who
don't
that
know if he's a
was,
cadet. I don't know. It was some guy. I'm new. I'm not around in shift 3, so I don't know who he is.
okay. If you can find out who that was, it would be greatly appreciated.
I don't remember what I had for breakfast.
Okay. Well, here's the problem I'm dealing with too, though, and this is where I'm at, is that from what I have heard and from what I'm understanding, you had been with the 95 and you had been working with his charges. And when I emailed you earlier, it was because the warrant was unticked by a sergeant, and it then became, okay, well, this guy is clear to be released from ICU. So then it became, what do we do? And I said, well, I'm gonna have to do what I can. So that's when I emailed you just to say, hey, like, I didn't realize this was gonna happen this quickly. What the fuck's going on? Legally, at this point, we cannot keep this guy in our custody. We have no reason to arrest him. At the time of how the report looked and how I sent it to you, we had no PC, no officer statements, we had no photos of the scene, no GSR test, nothing. We didn't even have the guns or anything inputted in the report, or casings or blood. So when you finally,
Flop. I know how this works. I've been a cop for a long time. So just tell me what's the dealio.
Okay.
Did we get him? Was he processed?
The dealio is that when you sent me the photos of the scene, I was able to process him. But the photos of the scene and the collection of the evidence needed to be in the report. That was the PC that was missing.
Definitely. Yeah, 100%.
So why wasn't it in the report though? Because it felt shitty having to let this guy walk out of the PD earlier, and thank God I was able to call him back and he came back. But that was like a super crucial piece of information.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. It was whatever officer was handling it at not Pillbox. The North Hospital, the Sandy Hospital.
Okay.
That's where we were.
But did you collect the evidence?
I took pictures, yeah, but he said he took pictures too, and I was like, okay, do you need anything from me? He's like, no, I got this. Like, all right.
Why was it Brixton or Leisha, or was it someone else?
I don't know. I'm not in the shift, so I have no fucking idea.
Okay.
I was just there as a support with K9.
Okay. So this is the same thing that I've told everyone else, and I'm just laying it out. We can't have warrants like this, even if your involvement was. Hold on.
I know how to do my job, my man.
I don't. Well, then why wasn't there a statement? 24 to 48 hours for a statement, and there was no statement.
24 to 48 hours. It was like 12 hours.
Then why was a warrant pushed then with nothing else in it?
I don't know.
So the problem is
it wasn't my warrant.
The problem is right now, the confusion that I'm dealing with is that this was promoted. Apparently you had told Brixton you promoted it to an incident.
Okay, strike everybody, my man.
Well, I don't, that's not the road I'm going down right now. I'm trying to figure out and get a full story. I don't want to go behind anyone's back. You know, I'm not like that. You know, I'm going to be a hunter with you, and I'm going to say, hey, listen, this is what happened. This is what went down. So I'm just trying to get a full picture and a full understanding as to what happened. Granted, if strikes come from it.
I'm telling you what happened. There was 2 officers on scene. I don't know who the fuck their name is because I'm not around this shift. And both of them, or the guy at the hospital was like, hey, you know, I'll handle this. And I said, okay, please get your report done. Ask me if you need anything. And I walked out.
Okay. So, like said before, I think the reason why I have concern is that you had the photos, or have photos, right? But there still wasn't any statement from any officer, which is a red flag.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. So I just.
But you're coming at me saying, you know, this thing was ticked. I didn't tick it, and then you're saying 24 to 48 hours when it was like 12 hours afterwards.
He was in the ICU.
Yeah, he was. He got fucked up.
I mean,
I don't know by who though. I don't know if he got. I wonder if I don't know what happened to him. Whoever was there probably should have checked, but I don't know if he was shot or if he got attacked by a murder kitty or what.
Mm-hmm.
Because he shot the doctor, and then his body was just found like nearby, and there was nobody else up there. So it's just like, what did he do to get hurt?
I really don't know, to be honest. Would you be able to do me a favor though, regardless, and just get it's just a brief statement, just your involvement on
Well,
scene?
yeah, of course.
Okay. It's just gonna be the one about Sydney Harper 86725. I could text it to you if you want, or you can just look up Joel Miller. I need to get to the bottom of what the fuck happened here, because I felt shitty kind of having to input all the evidence and having to essentially interrogate a guy that I had no involvement in. But it is what it is. It happened. It's just about addressing it, and I'm not gonna be a piece of shit and go to like command and say, yeah, these 3 people were involved, this is what happened.
No, you need to.
Well,
Everyone needs strength.
I mean that's what I'm saying. But if I'm gonna do that, I'm also gonna have the integrity to talk to both, Leisha, Brixton, and yourself. You know what I mean? Before I do anything with it, if I want to do anything with it. So, that's kind of where I'm at.
Damn, they didn't do shit.
Mm-hmm. The only 2 things that were there were the statements from, and I'm not lessening fault on anyone, right? I think everyone was somewhat at fault here, because it seemed like it was kind of sloppily done. If you can find out who the cadet is, that'd be great. If you happen to see them, just let me know. But this is the first I'm hearing of the cadet, so let me see what I can do.
I don't know if he's a cadet. I'm just saying he was a cadet because I don't know who it is.
Was he in a department, or was he wearing a UPD vest?
Bro, I don't. Like I said, I don't remember what I had for breakfast. I have no idea.
Okay. The problem is, saying I don't know, it doesn't help me. So I'm trying to get to the bottom.
Would you rather I lie to you?
No.
Like, what do you want from me, man?
I don't know. I mean, but I don't want to run in circles. I'm just trying to figure out what the fuck happened. I figured regardless of what happened, I wanted to at least address with you that this happened today, and it put me in a really shitty spot. And the lack of statements from any officer on scene did not help that. So I needed to at least address that with everybody. And that's even if I want to do anything at this point. The guy's been charged. I don't know if I'm following through with it. I just wanted to address everyone, because I'm not gonna go behind people's backs. If I got a problem, I'll tell you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So that was it. That was about it.
I'll write up the report right now.
Okay, awesome. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you. I'm stealing your hat, by the way. I kind of fuck with this.
No, you actually look really good in it.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Dan. Gonna be honest. Flop's takeaway from that is this is the first time he's hearing of a cadet, and with zero information on who it was, sounds very confusing. So for Flop, he's probably gonna bring it to someone at this point and say, "Listen, at this point, it needs something done." At 114, write this down, chat. At 114, extra 20. There we go. Ah, yes, a random cadet. Yeah. Well, now it's gonna come down to, hey, what the fuck? Sorry, Madison.
Hey, Flop.
Hey, so the plot chickens.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know you're riding with Patty, so I'll be very blunt and just very like to the point. You don't have to say anything.
Young.
Just spoke with Dan, and pretty much all I told him was, listen, this is what's going on. I think everyone's at fault here. And he goes, yeah, that sucks. That's crazy. And I was like, okay. I'm like, well, you had the photos.
What?
You sent them. Yeah. And so I asked him, I'm like, what happened? And he kind of gave me his story. He said, there was also a cadet on scene. I said, who was the cadet? He goes, I don't know. I don't know what I have for breakfast. I said, what did he look like? I don't know. What department was he in? I don't know. Was it UPD? I don't know. The first time I'm hearing of a cadet. It sounds like he's got no idea, but he encouraged the idea of me bringing it to a command member. So I'm just letting you know that Brixton stated that Dan told him that he promoted it to an incident and was with the guy. And I think it's really confusing to think that this guy, I don't know. Dan, when I emailed Dan earlier, he said, we have the evidence. We have evidence. But then when I addressed it with him, he goes, well, the cadet on scene, or I don't know who it was, said that they also took photos too. So he like kind of wrapped my head around this really confusing circle. And I just told him, I said, all right. I said, I'm not going to go behind anyone's back. I was going to address you no matter what, as well as the other officers on scene. And I did. So at this point, I'm going to pass along this. Dan apparently doesn't remember anything that happened. Doesn't know what eggs are for breakfast. And just completely, I don't know.
Okay, I'll sit down with Sweets, and give him a TLDR, because it's a problem.
You want me to just write up a TLDR?
Yeah, can you just write up a TLDR so I can
gonna,
just be like,
it's gonna be
Sweets,
long,
yeah.
but yeah, I'm
that's fine.
I'll write it out.
Go for it.
All right.
Yeah, go for it.
I'll email it to you.
All right, thank you, Flop.
right.
I appreciate you for doing all this shit. You're a gem.
Got you. I'll talk to you soon, all right?
All right. Bye, Flop.
Bye-bye. Woo! Another one on the book, baby. Let's go. What's up, Deceit? Jesus Christ. Patrol? What's a patrol? I don't know what a patrol is. I don't know where to hide. I'm gonna hide over here. All right, well, let's write a whole TLDR. Chat, you ready? This is gonna be a really long report. I want you to know. So I'm not gonna make this an actual report. We're just going to, I'm just using this as a write pad because this is what I'm gonna be forwarding over to Maddie, which is fine. You guys can see this. This is fine. This is everything we've been talking about, you know. Or I guess everything Flopp's been talking about, I should say. F2 Gong was working with MCU on a separate case when Harvey Holden came to Dugong and told him about a warrant pushed actually, I don't know if I want to do this here. Chat, I think I'm gonna do it in the ugly way. I think I'm doing a notepad. Because if this disappears, I'm gonna be sad. There it is. All right. This can all go. Okay. Hold on, I got this. You know what? Fuck it, we'll just keep it here. All right, F2 Gong. Actually. On a separate case, when Harvey Holden came to Dugong and told him about a warrant pushed by an officer. 3 were stated in the report. Alicia DeWitt, Lewis Brixton. Let me just pull it up. I like this song. Lewis Brixton, and Dan Faley. After Going was working with MCU on a separate case when Harvey Holden came to Dugong and told him about a warrant pushed by an officer. 3 were stated in the report. Alicia DeWitt. Harvey was investigating Joel Miller, the guy with the warrant, in regards to a potentially bigger case, and wanted the warrant to be extended. However, when Dugong looked at the warrant, there was absolutely nothing stating any officer statements or PC of or probable cause for an arrest, other than victim statements. Dugong called Madison Bancroft and proceeded to Dugong called Madison Bancroft, I'll say Sergeant, and proceeded to explain the warrant. As soon as the warrant was viewed, Bancroft agreed to have it unchecked, as it was an unfinished, poorly written warrant. When Dugong, as it was unfinished, poorly written warrant, when Dugong checked the evidence locker, casings, blood, weapons, and other various things were there. However, no photos of the scene, evidence on Joel's possession, or officer statements were there. When Dugong checked the evidence locker, casings, blood, weapons, and other various things were there. However, no photos of the scene, evidence of Joel's person, or casings, blood, or officer statements were there. When Dugong spoke with Brixton, Brixton stated that... Chad, this is going to be a long one. Get ready to sit up and just enjoy what is going to just be a simply very long written thing. When Dugong spoke with Brixton, Brixton stated that he was there to help assist Dan Faley with collecting evidence and photographing the scene. Brixton also proceeded to get statements from both victims. Paul Winter and Sydney Harper. Both statements from the victims were the only things found in the report. Okay. Were the only things found in the report. Dugong informed Brixton that he needed a statement 24 to 48 hours after a report's made, especially if it's a warrant. Brixton stated to Flop that Dan told Brixton that he was promoting it to an incident. Okay. Brixton that he was promoting it to an incident. Dugong spoke with Leisha the day after. I want to say what would we say, chat? Shot at Chiliad. This happened 2 days ago, apparently, right? It's happened in shift 3, so we'll say like roughly 24 hours after the warrant. We'll say, right? Dugong spoke with Lisa the day after, who's been on a small LOA. and asked her involvement as she was an officer listed. Alicia told Dugong she showed up at the tail end of whatever was happening, and very shortly after Dugong spoke with Alicia the day after. We'll say after a report was made. He's been on a small LOA and asked her involvement as she was an officer listed. Alicia told Dugong she showed up at the tail end of whatever was happening, and very shortly after broke off for a 77 or 78 request. She can't recall. Dugong simply asked who else was on scene, and she stated it was the three of them: herself, Dan Faley, and Brixton. Let's see. Herself, Dan Faley, and Brixton. Dugong then spoke to Dan Faley, who was presumed to be the one to push the warrant. When Dugong spoke to Dan, he meant, actually, I'll say this. I'm actually gonna do this. Casings were there. EMS informed PD that Joel Miller was clear to be released, and unfortunately, officers had a no PC to arrest Joel, as well as an unticked warrant, due to the fact that officers could not legally hold Joel, nor could the hospital. Joel was escorted to MRPD, where confirmation on the unchecked warrant allowed him to walk out. During the process of all of this, Dugong was emailing Dan about evidence or anything that would be enough PC to throw Joel in jail. Me and a PC to throw Joel in jail. Dan Faley proceeded to email Flop photos of the scene, as well as the positive GSR test that he needed, so that Flop would be able to process the suspect. Joel luckily was willing to come back so he could be processed. I need a different song. Hold on, I gotta find a different I need, like, you know what song I need? This is a good song. I like this song. Okay. Dan Faley proceeded to email Flop photos of the scene, as well as the positive GSR test that he needed so that Flop would be able to process the suspect. Joel luckily was willing to come back so he could be processed. and did not put up a fight. Dugong took the time during this to properly include all evidence that was found in the evidence locker. Casings, blood, weapons, projectiles, photos of scene, and photos of GSR test. Dugong also got a short confession out of Joel Miller, as well as his DNA and weapons license taken. Okay. Let's see what we're looking at here. Let's cook. What we got? Because at this point, this is going to be out of flop stands. When Dugong spoke with Brixton roughly 24 hours after the warrant, Brixton stated that he was there to help assist Dan Faley with collecting evidence. Dugong spoke with Leisha the day after, roughly 36 hours after the report was made. He's been on a small LOA. I'm going to say who hasn't been on duty since that. I'm going to say that report, or since this report, and asked her involvement as she was an officer listed. Leisha told Dugong she showed up at the tail end of whatever was happening, and very shortly after broke off for 77 or 78 requests. She can't recall. Dugong simply asked what was on scene. She stated it was the three of them. Brixton also stated the only three officers involved were himself, Leisha, and Dan Faley. I'll say and Dan. Dugong spoke to Dan Faley, who is presumed to be the one to push the warrant. When Dugong spoke to Dan, he addressed simply that the warrant sucked. Actually, I almost forgot to mention. Hold on. Dugong showed Dan the empty report and stated that there simply was no PC for the warrant, and that he needed statements and evidence properly submitted. Dan replied to Flop and stated, what do you state? Okay. The gun matched. I'm sorry. I want to make sure this is accurate. He needed so the process of it. Joel luckily was willing to come back and put up a fight. Dugong needed statements still, and informed Dan he needed information. Dan replied to Flop and said, there we go. Dugong then showed Dan the empty report and stated that there simply was no PC for the warrant, and that he needed be properly submitted. Dugong then spoke to Dan Faley, who was presumed to be the one to push the warrant. When Dugong spoke to went to push the warrant and collect evidence. When Dugong spoke to Dan, he addressed simply that the warrant sucked and needed context. Dan told Dugong, wow, that's crazy. And then told Flop that there was a cadet or somebody else on scene. He doesn't remember who, and claimed they were taking photos of evidence. Dugong asked for clothing, department, a name, anything that would help identify the cadet, we'll say, right? That's fair. And stated to Flop, I don't come around shift 3. I don't know if he was a cadet. I don't come around shift 3. I don't know if he was a cadet, but I asked him if he needed help, and he told me he was fine. Dugong addressed the facts that Dan had photos of the GSR tests and the photos of the scene emailed to him by Dan, and wanted to know why they were not inputted in the report. Dan did not know, so Dan did not know, as well as has no idea how the warrant got pushed as well. Flop note. In my personal opinion, statements probably should have been in the report. In my personal opinion, statements probably should have been in the report. However, give me some songs, man. Fuck, I need some better music. Okay. Yeah, we're almost done. Thanks to everyone who's bearing with me and sticking around and putting up with this shit. Appreciate you, dudes. In my personal opinion, statements probably should have been in the report. However, after discussing with Leisha and Brixton, they were both either minimally involved or had no involvement to some degree. Dugong did make note that statements still should have been included. Regardless of the level of involvement. They're both either minimally involved or had no involvement to some degree. Dugong did, or I'm doing it again. I did make note that statements still should have been included regardless of the level of involvement. Apparently, Brixton and Leisha were unaware that a warrant was even being placed. Brixton also noted that Dan apparently informed him that he was promoting it to an incident, leading me to believe that Dan had some involvement with at least charges. Dan stating he had no idea about literally anything on scene. However, having photos emailed to me on scene sounds very contradicting to the matching stories I have from Leisha and Brixton. My personal opinion is that the main concern out of this all is knowing why this was pushed to be a warrant and why and the responsibility should primarily fall on whoever didn't be thorough with PC before pushing what was a bad warrant. Well, Nikita, that's the thing that Flop is stating is, you know, it seems it's very contradicting to think that, that, you know, from what we understand, Dan was there as canine support. Actually, I don't know if I mentioned that. It's not really worthy of bringing it up. All right. I'm not gonna say literally. Also, the fact that I had to crutch through this entire thing, without even being the primary or even the assisting officer. I ended up having to do the legwork, which is why this should probably be addressed. Oh my God, Bauer. Yes, hello.
Hello, I have fantastic news you're gonna love to hear that James told me about.
What's
Because I
that?
haven't seen Charlotte and obviously Emerson I haven't seen.
They broke up?
Yeah.
Wow. Who would have thought? Wow, it's almost like I predicted that one.
Yep. She has pressure sores on her back from lack of movement. And yeah, so and the syringe that I have in my custody right now looks like it was used about several times because I had the doctors look at it. So she was using a dirty needle on herself for metamorphine. So
Well,
I let her therapist know. I sent her therapist a very, very, very long text message about everything that happened.
great.
And oh yeah, no, I talked to her therapist for probably 20 minutes on the phone yesterday because I let her know the whole thing about Echo and her being friends, and she was very concerned about that. So, if you ever see Serotonin around and you want to talk to her about Emerson, she is amazing and she is happy to talk to you about her.
Yeah, of course, not a problem. I will reach out to her if I have the opportunity.
Yeah, she also said that if any members of PD ever need a therapist, she's more than welcome to talk to them.
Boy, I'm gonna need to after all the shit I've been going through recently, Jada.
Yep. So feel free to reach out to her. She's very nice. She's usually shift 1, shift 2. So obviously not right now, but
little polar opposite for me, but yeah.
Yeah. She's good for couples though. So if you and Ziggy need a therapist, then she does do couples therapy.
I don't think Ziggy wants therapy. I think he you know, and that's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
We're in a happy, healthy relationship.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad.
Yeah, we've never
But
fought.
The she is going to be in the ICU overnight. Okay, bye, Maddie. Thank you. She's gonna be in the ICU overnight. James brought up a good point, which I honestly agree with, and so does Madison. We think that she got the metamorphine from Echo or Wade.
Oh, I guarantee it. But the fact that
So-
she's buddy with them now,
Yeah.
if somebody wants to investigate that, they can. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have I have no interest after all the shit I went through to try and get Emerson to stay away from that. And the fact that she fell directly in line with it is really, it's kind of a you know.
Yeah,
Little-
Madison
little
told
bit
me
of a-
she's probably gonna hate me, but I mean, I understand that because I'm basically trying to get her off of the metamorphine period, but I know that's not gonna happen overnight.
If you need help with that, I'm more than willing to help out. If you need the quote unquote bad cop in this, I'll be the bad cop because Emerson won't want to hear it from me, but that's okay. I do
Yeah,
think that sometimes the reality needs to come out, and I'll be nice about it, but I'll make sure that I'm very stern about my point. So if you need that assistance, let me know. I'm more than willing to be that help.
if she gets mad at me and
Oh,
like,
God.
tells me she hates me or whatever, I know it's not actually her speaking, it's her drug brain. And I know that when she's, I don't want to say better, because I mean, at this point, she's not going to ever be 100% back to the normal Emerson that we all knew 2 months ago, 3 months ago, because that was taken from her by that evil fucking bitch. But
Hey, really quickly, do you possibly have any food by chance? I
I have food.
Actually,
It's,
I
I'm
might-
not SMH.
I might have food actually. Hold on. I just realized I went to Harmony. Did he give me my food? Oh my god. There's food. Tara, there's food.
There's food. Hey, I was the little food guardian.
Oh god.
I always make sure everyone has food.
You're a legend for that though. See, I usually go around and make sure I have food for everybody or at least myself. It's just I forgot that I had food.
Well, no, I called Luca right beforehand. I was like, hey, do you need food? He's like, yeah, I actually do. I was like, does everyone else? He's like, probably just bring it. I was like, all right.
Oh god. Is
then-
Luca around?
No.
Oh, okay.
He said he's a phone call away if anyone needs him. So, but and what the fuck was that? Madison basically was like, yeah, I mean, you're allowed to stay here and deal with that because that's important. Someone's life literally is at risk because of drugs, and they're dealing with their stalker who they're now friends with, which is
Yeah. I'm harsh. I'm harsh with everything that happened. And
no, you should be. It's not
I-
something lighthearted.
on a morale on the morale side, I'm more than willing to help you with this. So if you want me to talk to Emerson come tomorrow if she's medically cleared, let me know. I'm more than willing to try and assist with that.
I have a lot of questions for her. It's clear to me now because James told me that Charlotte and Emerson broke up either right before or right after Charlotte's PD interview. Because Charlotte told me
Mhm.
this a few days ago. Charlotte did apply to LSPD. I don't know how the interview went. I haven't spoken to Charlotte in
Charlotte
like 3
applied
days.
to the what?
She had
Why
an
did she-
interview.
What?
She wants to be a cop.
You know, honestly, good for her. I'm
Yeah,
glad
that's
she's
what I
out of her
said.
toxic relationship. That's actually, you know, I'm really happy for her. I'm glad that she's out of her toxic life. You know what? Good on her.
So
I hope that Emerson enjoys her newfound love life with Echo. All jokes aside, let me know what you need help with on that, and I'm more than willing to address it however it needs to be.
I'm supposed to meet with Charlotte, I think tomorrow. Well, I texted her and said I'd be around tomorrow because I need to catch up with her and figure out actually what is going on with her because she probably has a lot more insight on what's going on.
Well, I will say this. If you need someone there for that, let me know, and I will make time.
I'm just trying to think of where to have a talk with her that's not like down and because she's probably
MRPD?
not in a good mindset right
Oh,
now. Well, I want her
Emerson?
to- No, Charlotte.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. All good.
Emerson's gonna be a different story. That
I gotcha.
she's not in trouble, but at the same time, she's not innocent, right? Because it's uh, it's hard on me because I'm friends with her and I want her to be better, but at the same time, I have a job that I have to do and I have to take care of her and
Yeah,
make sure that she's okay as a person
of
and
course.
not causing harm to herself and others. Which
Yeah,
I have to put my job and my morals before anything else. Which
Yeah.
I'm doing.
of course. Well, if you need help, you let me know. I gotta let you go real quick because I gotta make another
you're good,
call.
you're
I'm
good, you're
sorry.
Oh Jesus, Sydney!
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll
No,
talk to you
Sydney
soon.
just fell.
Oh God. Listen, Bauer, I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Okay, okay, bye.
All right. Bye bye. Matt, I'm sorry.
You're good.
I'm formally sorry. I'd like to formally apologize to you.
What?
I understand why you could never answer the phone, why you never responded to text messages.
Oh.
I understand why all this shit that seems to go on once you get stripes seems to happen. I have been in this PD for the last 6 hours. Yesterday, I was on duty for 10. I was inside of these walls for 8 of those hours. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, that sounds like a normal day.
It shouldn't be.
Well,
Take the stripes away.
unfortunately,
Be back to cadet. Fuck. This is killing me.
yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll see you on duty. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Good morning. Okay, hold on. Is this?
Alex, what happened?
My wife happened.
Let me check this.
Romantic balloon accident.
Honey, I don't miss being high command at all. At all.
Maybe it's what's missed.
I'm almost convinced he's doing this on purpose.
He's a busy man. I can't imagine what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. Feel that one, buddy.
Do you know that at every turn, every time he said, "Yeah, I'm ready," I call you, and then I try to get a hold of him, and he's in a meeting. He's busy. I'll call you back. Is this
Our
really how
delegation.
shitty I was? I don't mean he's shit. I want to be clear, but like, was that me?
Alex,
Oh my God, when did this happen? Holy fuck, the timing on this is so great. This is 5 days ago. Holy shit. This is fucking crazy. Okay. Give me a second. I gotta save all that shit I just wrote. Did we miss anything in this? Let's chat. We ready to read back my new book? Everybody get ready. I'll even put on the lo-fi for this one, okay? Hopefully we'll be done in like 3 songs. See? Let me read this back. Do a quick proofread on this. F. Dugong was working with MCU on a separate case when Harvey Holden came to Dugong and told him about a warrant push by an officer. 3 were attached. 3 were stated in the report: Leisha DeWitt, Lewis Brixton, and Dan Faley. Harvey was investigating Joel Miller, the guy with the warrant, in regards to a potentially bigger case and wanted the warrant to be extended. However, Dugong looked at the warrant. However, when Dugong looked at the warrant, there was absolutely nothing stating any officer statements or probable cause for an arrest other than victim statements. Dugong called Sergeant Madison Bancroft, who then proceeded to explain the warrant. The warrant. As soon as the warrant was viewed, Bancroft agreed to have it unchecked as it was unfinished, poorly written warrant. When Dugong checked the evidence locker, casings, blood, weapons, and other various things were there. However, no photos of the scene, evidence on Joel's possessions, casings, blood, or other officer statements were there. EMS informed PD that Joel Miller was clear to be released. We'll say roughly 2 days after the report. And unfortunately, officers had no PC to arrest Joel as an unticked warrant. Due to the fact that officers could not legally hold Joel, nor could the hospital, Joel was escorted to MRPD where confirmation on the unchecked warrant allowed him to walk out. During the process of all this, Dugong was emailing Dan Faley about evidence or anything that would be enough PC to throw Joel in jail. Dan Faley proceeded to email Flop photos of the scene as well as the positive GSR test that he needed so that Flop would be able to process the suspect. Joe luckily was willing to come back so he could be processed and did not put up a fight. Dugong needed statements still and informed Dan he needed information. Dan replied to Flop and stated, "Statement, that dude kidnapped and killed her. We have the evidence." The gun matched. Dugong then showed Dan the empty report and stated that there simply was no PC for the warrant and that he needed statements and evidence properly submitted. Dugong took all the time, Dugong took the time during this to properly include all the evidence that was found in the evidence locker. Dugong also got a short confession out of Joel Miller as well as his DNA weapons license taken. When Dugong spoke with Brixton roughly 24 hours after the warrant, Brixton stated that he was there to help assist Dan Faley with collecting evidence and photographing the scene. Brixton also proceeded to get statements from both victims, Paul Winter and Sydney Harper. Both statements from the victims were the only things found in the report. Dugong informed Brixton that he needed a statement 24 to 48 hours after a report was made, especially if it's a warrant. Brixton stated to Flop that Dan told Brixton that he was promoting it to an incident. Okay, hold on. Okay. Brixton did not know it was pushed to a warrant prior to the conversation with Flop. Dugong spoke with Leisha the day after, roughly 36 after report was made, who hasn't been on duty since this report, and asked her involvement as she was an officer listed. Leisha told Dugong she showed up at the tail end of whatever was happening and very shortly after broke off her 77 or 78 request. She can't recall. Dugong simply asked who else was on scene. She stated it was the three of them. Leisha was also reminded of the statement within 24 to 48 hours as well. Dugong then spoke to Dan Faley, who was presumed to be the one to push the warrant and collect evidence. Dugong spoke to Dan. He addressed simply that the warrant sucked and needed context. Dan told Dugong, "Wow, that's crazy," and then told Flop that there was a cadet, somebody else on scene, he doesn't remember who, and claimed they were taking photos of the evidence. Dugong asked for clothing department, a name, anything that would help identify the cadet. Dan stated to Flop, "I don't come around shift 3. I don't know if he was a cadet, but I asked him if he needed help and he told me he was fine." Dugong addressed the facts that Dan had photos of the GSR test.
Flop.
No.
What is this thing on the wall downstairs?
No. I don't know.
Corporal?
I need.
What is it about corporals?
No, Harvey. No. I need peace and quiet for the next 2 minutes. I need silence. I'm almost done. Just 2 minutes, Harvey.
2 minutes and then I'm gonna bother you, okay?
2 minutes. I don't remember where I was. Dan said to the Flop, "I don't cover out shift 3. I don't know if he was a cadet, but I asked if him. But I asked if he needed help. No, he was fine." Dugong addressed the facts that Dan had photos of the GSR test and the photos of the scene emailed to him by Dan, and wanted to know why they were not inputted in the report. Dan did not know, as well as he had no idea how the warrant got pushed as well. Flop note: in my personal opinion, statements probably should have been in the report. However, after discussing with Leisha and Brixton, they were both either minimally involved or had no involvement to some degree. I did make note that statements still should have been included, regardless of the level of involvement. Apparently, Brixton and Leisha were unaware that a warrant was even being placed. Brixton also noted that Dan apparently informed him that he was promoting it to an incident, leading me to believe that Dan had some involvement with at least charges. Dan stating he had no idea about literally anything on the scene. However, having photos emailed to me on scene sounds very contradicting to the matching stories I have from Leash and Brixton. My personal opinion is that the main concern out of this all, knowing why this was pushed to be a warrant, and the responsibility should primarily fall on whoever didn't be thorough with the PC before pushing what was a bad warrant. Also, the fact that I had to crutch through this entire thing without even being the primary or even the assisting officer. I ended up having to do the legwork, which is why this should probably be addressed. Okay, I'm good. Fuck me. I need to copy this. This is probably too long to send to somebody on a message. Let's see.
Your free trial of cooking is ended.
Not yet.
How much time do you have left? You been keeping track?
A minute. Just a fucking minute, please. Harvey, I need to get through this. This was important. Okay, let me add in the give me just a second. I'm adding in the photos real quick. Okay. Save as Sydney Harper, or I'm gonna say what was the report number? 86 725 officer complaint. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna rename that. I'm just gonna call it a complaint. Not even an officer complaint. Let's just make life easy. Okay, let me copy all of this. Okay. Holy shit. We're done. Claps. We made it. That was like a 20-30 minute fucking message. Okay. Yes, Harvey.
Okay, I can't help but notice this thing in the bottom floor as a diagram of sergeant below that, corporal below that, deputy, right next to corporal senior.
Let me see.
Quite frankly, the corporal is a dog shit rank, and I hope that's not the idea, is to bring it back, because my problem I'm having already is being bottlenecked at seniors. I'm just gonna be bottlenecked at seniors with an extra rank above them.
No. So I actually know what this is. I don't know how public this is. This is a rank idea. We're looking at getting rid of. I don't know how much I could say, Harvey. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is a proposed idea at getting rid of seniors in terms of like command structure, and instead all the seniors being put to corporals, and anyone who has any seniority in the PD being put into an actual senior role so that they're recognized. So essentially, getting rid of senior.
I go directly to a corporal then, or
Yeah.
may bottleneck the
Yeah.
seniors.
You
Okay.
would get bottlenecked to a corporal. So
I don't
instead-
hate that, but I realize where the bottleneck is. And I'm gonna be honest, Flop. I think the state should have being able to opt in to not being a corporal or senior level. They should be opt in to be a regular, just officer with the title of trooper, so that they're not automatically a senior, and I don't automatically have to be bottlenecked by them when they're the only one around.
Yeah, the state thing is confusing because